Hi guys, it's Love You For You back with another video. In my last video, I told you that I would give a testimony of my mental health journey and how I overcame my abuse through my childhood. So at a young age, at the age of 5, I started raising my brother and sister. I took care of them until the age of 17. I lived with my bio dad and my bio mom until I was 10. Through those years, I had a lot of stress on me. I was supposed to take care of the house. I was supposed to take care of the work. There was a lot of manipulation that happened that I didn't realize was manipulation. At the age of 10, my parents decided to split. What happened was my bio dad met a woman and they lived upstairs. My bio mom met a man and they lived downstairs. I got kicked out of my room to sleep in the living room. And there was so much stress in the house. They'd always argue. Like I had 2 different sets of parents in the same exact household. And I slept in the living room. My bed, my room was the living room. I didn't have a room to sleep in. I was still taking care of the kids. I was still cooking dinner. I was still doing the laundry. I was doing the dishes. I did all of that stuff. And it was so stressful. And I think that's what made me become independent. And that's when I first started having suicidal thoughts. At the time, I didn't realize what those were or what that was, because to me, that was my normal life. I didn't think that other kids lived better than that. I didn't think that there was a better way to live than that. So, my mom decided to move out with her boyfriend. She took my brother and sister with her, and I decided to stay with my father. I got a room back, one of the rooms in the house I got to move into. And it was fine. For like 4 months, I was the happiest I had ever been at that point. And I thought everything was going great. And then after like 3 or 4 months, my bio dad and stepmom started getting very abusive. My stepmom would tell me that I was fat. She would tell me that I didn't deserve this or I did this and that wasn't okay. I was blamed for a lot of stuff in the household. I was very neglected. I cooked for myself. I cleaned the house. If I didn't clean the house, it was dirty. It was gross. My dad was a hoarder. I lived in a hoarder house. And then over those past couple years, I turned 13 and I went up to my grandma, and that was the first time I self-harmed because my bio dad refused to let me see my brother and sister. To me, I raised those kids. Those were my kids. There was only like a 2 or 3 year gap to where I didn't take care of those kids at all. And even those 2 or 3 years was terrible. Those were my children, and I was so upset, and that was the first time I did it. And my bio dad just told me, oh, just don't do that. Like, it's not needed. Then I was so upset over that. After my siblings left, my bio dad came and picked me up, brought me back to the house. And a couple months after that, I was sexually assaulted by my stepmom and my bio dad. And I think for me, the sexual abuse wasn't the worst part. It was the mental stuff. It was the manipulation, the gaslighting, the blaming game. That was the worst part for me because it gave me the lowest self-esteem that you could ever have. It made me feel like I was a shitty person and that I didn't deserve to live. And fast forward a couple months, I tried to commit suicide for the first time. I ended up in the mental hospital. I was there for a couple weeks, and it gave me a break, I guess, and then I went back, and it was just the same, and it just kept having repetition after repetition. I went up to my bio mom's house for Easter, and I decided I was going to move in because it was better there. And I told her about the sexual abuse that happened with my bio dad and stepmom. And she turned them in. Nothing happened for 2 years. Nobody was prosecuted. Nobody was arrested. Nothing. In those 2 years, though, the first 6 months were great at her house, and then it was back to the way it was before. I was taking care of the kids. I was doing laundry. I was doing dishes. I was cleaning the house. I was the parent. She worked and she slept, and that's all she did. And my stepdad he yelled a lot. He never hit us, but he was very aggressive and made us feel like we were always doing something wrong. So that happened, and I was good for about 2 years, and then I got interviewed for the sexual abuse that happened, and my father got arrested. They released him on bail, and he committed suicide. They found him in the woods, and I was so angry. My thought was that he was such a coward. How could he do that? He did this thing to me, and he's such a coward, he can't even face what he's done. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to yell at him, and I couldn't, and I had to deal with this anger. But I now realize that's the way I healed. That's the way that's how I overcame that part of my abuse journey, was that, I was angry, but it was also grief. Because, yes, he did terrible things to me, but I also loved him. Because he was my dad. After that, it was another 2 years, and I don't think it was another 2 years. It was maybe a couple months, and my stepmom was arrested and prosecuted and has 14 years in prison. But the stuff at the house with my bio mom just kept getting worse and worse, and I finally tried to commit again. And my mental health was continually getting worse. I needed to be out of the house all the time because it was safer in my brain. It was safer for me to not be in that house. My best friend's house was my safe place. Her parents treated me well. Her parents treated me like I was their own kid. And I love that. I felt safe. And when I come back from that house, I would be told, you're not acting right. You're not acting how you're supposed to act. When in reality, I was just happy. I felt safe and I was happy. And my mom didn't like that. So I dealt with that until I was 17. And then my last and worst overdose led me to Orchard Place. Orchard Place is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It helped me realize the abuse that was going on. It helped me realize that everything that's happened to me my whole life was not my fault. I didn't do anything to cause that stuff to happen. I was a child. I didn't deserve that. For children, they need love, they need protection, they need to be cared for, and I didn't get that growing up. And I took that role on. I took that parent role so my siblings could live like a child. They could grow up being able to play outside and being able to play games. But I blame myself for everything that's happened, even if it wasn't my fault. I apologize for everything over and over and over again. And it wouldn't even be my fault. But I felt like if I didn't apologize, I'd get yelled at or I'd get manipulated. I was just overall so stressed out, and so worried that I do something wrong to hurt another person, because my biggest fear in life is to hurt another person, is to harm, even if it's on accident. It kills me inside if I do that. It's the worst possible thing I could do. Orchard Place taught me that I am lovable. I am deserving of these things. I am worthy. And they taught me that stuff was not my fault. I couldn't control that. I grew up in an abusive household my whole childhood, my teenage years. That was not my fault. But I am so strong for what I've been through, and I know that now. They taught me how to be confident, how to be positive, how to how to be who I'm meant to be, and how to help others grow and learn from my experience. And without them, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd still be at my mother's, and I might honestly be dead. They helped me to get out of the lowest spot I'd ever been in my life, to this happy and joyful person. Like, I have bipolar too, so yeah, I still have my lows and I still have my highs, but it's not as bad. Like, I'm able to handle it more. I have the coping skills to deal with the thoughts and the impulsive thoughts, to deal with the highs. And I'm able to recognize when I'm in a high. I'm able to know that I need help if I need help. My mother always, yell's not the right word, but she always told me that, made me feel like it was not okay that I was having these thoughts, or made me feel like that I need to deal with this on my own, when in reality I was just reaching out for her to help when I was having suicidal thoughts. I was reaching out to try and get help, because I didn't want to take that path, but I felt like I had no other option. I felt like I couldn't escape, and I didn't know what else to do, so that's what I went to. But that's not even all of it. That's the sad part. There's more that I'm thinking about that I didn't say, that probably doesn't need to be said, but it just sucks. Like, I hope that this helps someone, even if it's a single person. I hope it helps them realize that they're not alone, that they don't deserve whatever abuse they are getting, whether they're an adult or they're a child. It does not matter. You do not deserve that. And sometimes it's scary to stick up for yourself. Sometimes it's not safe to stick up for yourself. There is options out there to help you get out safely. If you're a child, there's always DHS, and hopefully they'll help you. If you're an adult, there's always if you're a woman, there's the hotline for abuse. There's all kinds of things that can help you. You just need to reach out, and you need to grow that confidence to be able to reach out. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sorry it was very deep. Sorry if there was any triggers in there for you. I just wanted to be completely honest and show you that this is real. This is actually happening in the world. And I wanted to tell my story to maybe help someone feel like they're not alone, or help someone to feel like they can possibly do something about what they're going through. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you enjoy content about mental health, or if you need a safe space. Thank you.